Alright guys, welcome to a new video. Today is the day we put back together this Suzuki RM125. But yeah, we're going to be putting the whole bike back together today. We got the sprockets in the mail along with the chain. When you replace sprockets, you typically replace the chain as well. So we got the front sprocket right here. It is a, let's see what kind of tooth this is. I think it's 13 tooth, I think. Yeah, 13 tooth, and the back one is a 49. So this bike's gonna go pretty fast. Then we got the DID chain in there. The total came to $88.20 for everything, which isn't too bad. We got the frame painted. You guys saw that in the last video. And we got the bearings in, the brand new bearings in both wheels. And we also blasted the wheels out of here, so they look pretty good. I got rid of all that grease in here, all that mud, and they look pretty decent. So today we're just gonna be putting everything back together. I think we're gonna start with the motor. We have to paint this little side panel on it quick. Paint that black right here, and then clean up the rest of the motor, and then we should be good to go. We got to place the motor in. I think it's like three bolts for the motor, and once that goes in, we're going to do the swing arm and then the forks, and then as we go along putting pieces on, we're going to be cleaning up the pieces. So for example, we're going to be putting the motor in, so we're going to clean the motor first, then put it in, and then clean the swing arm, put that on, clean the forks, put that on, and make sure everything's perfect before we put it back on. So that's the plan. Let's get outside. It's a fairly nice day out today. So we'll work outside, and yeah, should be exciting. So stay tuned guys, the bike build begins right now. Alright, so first up we're going to be putting on this back sprocket. Open it up here. Like I said before, it is a 49 tooth, so this is going to fit right on here perfectly. As you guys can see, everything lines up perfect. So that's pretty good. Yeah, so basically this thing has some Allen heads right here and some nuts in the back that they just screw out of. So you just take a 12 mil and an Allen wrench and go to town. Then this drops right back in. Obviously the grooved out ends go up, and then the bolt's just sitting right in there. This is what the bolt looks like for that. So as you can see, they're tapered down like that, so those fit right in there. So yeah, we'll put the back one on, then we'll do the front one on the motor. Alright, so we got the sprocket off, looks all good. We're just going to clean up this area really well, get all the imperfections out of it, and then we're going to put a little bit of grease on this platform right here, and then a little bit on the back of this. You always want to grease when there's metal to metal. So we're going to put a very small layer of grease right there, then bolt them back down. We're going to clean up the bolts as well. Clean everything off, and then bolt it back down. We should be good to go then. Alright, back sprocket officially on. Looks pretty good. Nice and straight. All ready to go. Now we're going to go grab the motor and do the front sprocket. Shouldn't be too bad. Right over here. There's the front sprocket. It's not too badly worn, but these divots in there are getting pretty big. So that is just has a pin on it, and then you just slide the pin off and the whole sprocket comes off. So let's do that, and then clean up the motor, and then put the motor in the bike. Alright, we got the small sprocket, 13 tooth. This is going to go on right here. Just like Alright, got the front sprocket on, 13 tooth, looks pretty good. Got the motor pretty much cleaned up here. So now we're going to do the swing arm on the frame, because this bolt goes onto the swing arm, so in order to put the motor on, we need to put the swing arm on. So swing arm on the frame coming up next. Alright, time for the swing arm. We're going to clean this up really nice, clean off the shock, cut off that old chain, and put some degreaser on all this stuff. and make sure it's all cleaned up nice before we put it back on. Also, we need to bleed the back brake, but that'll be after we put it back on the bike. So let's get to work on this. Right guys, a little update on the process. We've got the motor in, we've got the back swing arm on, we got the shock all hooked up, all the bolts are tightened down. We have the motor mounts left to do right there, but I think that's pretty much it for the motor. We are going to get the carb in there, all the good stuff. We need the coil on there. The CDI goes right up in here too. So we'll get all that stuff on, and I think we should be good to go pretty soon here. We'll put the forks on after that, and then we'll do the back wheel and the front wheel, and all the plastics. I think that's the way we're gonna go with it. Alright guys, the bike's coming along nicely. We got the radiators on, we got the forks on. We're gonna add these new grips to it right now. As you can see, these grips are really bad. So we're just gonna tear those off, put some new ones on. Then we're gonna throw the tires on. I have to cut the length of the chain to the correct length, and I have to do a carb clean on the carb here quick before we can ride it. But it's looking pretty good so far. Not too bad. It's coming along. But yeah, I just painted up the radiators a little bit, as you guys can see, so that looks pretty good. They were like yellowish before, kind of ugly looking. But we gotta get the back brake on as well and bleed that. We have to re-bleed the front brake as well because I took that off. So lots of stuff to do yet. We do have sparks, so that's good. The connections are all there. But let's put these new grips on and we should be good to go. Alright, we're making some good progress here. We got the wheels on. We got pretty much everything on. We're just gonna get the chain on right now before we put the other bar on, the subframe, and that'll make it easier to get the chain on. So what we need is just let's see if we can get this in neutral here quick. There we go. So let's go grab the new chain and see what size we have to fit it to. I know it comes with extra linkage on the chain, so we'll have to see. We might have to cut it somewhere, but this is the chain we got for it. Right here, brand new chain. And we're gonna put it on the bike and see and measure it out and then cut it with the little Dremel tool right there. And then pound out one of the clips, and hopefully it should be good. I guess I'll update you guys when the chain is back on the bike. Right, so the chain is now on. That worked out perfectly. Very smooth, as you can see, very straight. So chain worked out great. Super smooth. The bearings worked out great too because no wobble at all. So those are really good, no front wobble. This bike had tons of front wobble and back wobble before I put the bearings in. It was horrible, the bearings were shot. But yeah, chain and sprockets look great. Everything looks pretty good. I oiled up the air filter and cleaned that, put that back in the box. So that's good to go. Now we just have to put in the plastics and we are pretty much done. Obviously we have to put some coolant in it and some gas and fire it up, and hopefully it runs pretty good. Alright guys, I'm just about to put on the plastics. I put in the tank and it kind of makes the whole bike look like poop. I definitely need to figure out a way to either clean the plastics or order some new ones. I really don't feel like spending $300 on plastics just to make this bike look good. The old plastics are pretty rough, but I feel like they could be brought back to life. If you guys have tips for that, leave it in the comments below. I'm definitely going to fix up the plastics so that the whole bike looks really good. I did polish up this subframe right there. As you can see, it looks pretty good. I used aluminum polish on it and shined right up. Looks pretty sweet. I also painted this black, or this case black right here. Looks pretty good. It's just the plastics that look kind of crappy on it right now. Other than that, the sprockets and chain look great, I think, and everything else looks good except for the plastics, which is almost most of the bike. So if we can get some new plastics for it, this thing will look really sharp, and I think that's what we might have to do. But I mean, look at how clean the motor is. Everything's really clean. So yeah, we're gonna put the plastics on and do a quick startup here. Hopefully it starts up and we don't have any issues with it. Alright guys, the bike is done. The plastics are all back on it. The plastics make the bike look like junk, not gonna lie, but it is what it is. I could get new plastics for it, but I don't know. This part of the bike looks really good. The frame, the polished subframe, the chain, the new sprockets, that part looks really good. And then the engine looks really clean. The part of the bike that looks bad again is the plastics, so if we change out the plastics, it would look pretty good. But let's add some coolant here, some oil and some gas, and see if this thing starts up. Alright guys, we got it all back together. There's no leaks anywhere yet. I have yet to start it up. This is going to be the first start on the newly put together RM125. I believe it's 1990. So let's see if it starts the first kick. Here we go. Alright, sweet. Started first kick. Doesn't oil the greatest, but man, pretty good. First kick. Freshly rebuilt, carb clean. That's pretty much it. Awesome. So we just have to get fine-tuned and take it for a quick ride. Pretty happy with the results. If only the plastics were new, then this thing would be a beast. As you guys saw, started first kick. Thing runs great. Smells super good. Love that two-stroke. Got tuned in, sounds pretty crispy. Pretty cool. No leaks anywhere, so that's really good. Yeah, let's go take it for a rip. Alright guys, make sure you wear a helmet, especially when we just did new bearings and new chain and sprockets. The chain can easily fall off or the bearings can come loose. So definitely wear a helmet and some boots or something, just so that chain doesn't slap you in the leg and cut your leg up. So I'm wearing this kind of a boot and a pretty nice helmet. So let's take it for a ride down the road, see if it has some zip to it. Alright guys, so that was the first ride. Seemed pretty good, not too bad. No wheel wobble or anything, so that was a plus. It was revving a little bit high, so I still have to fine-tune the carb. But let's switch over to camera and talk about it. Alright guys, so that is the bike. Ran pretty good. I'm going to adjust the fuel mixture screw a little bit and see if that changes the idle. Because it's just revving up a little bit high. Otherwise there might be an air leak somewhere that I might have to fix, but otherwise it's pretty good. Wheel doesn't wobble anymore. Chain seemed to be holding up. I always just tighten the chain to 2 fingers right here. That seems to work all the time. But yeah, everything worked out pretty well. Not too shab. Hopefully we can get some new plastics for it and new graphics for it, and then it will be complete. As you guys know, I painted the frame, we polished the subframe, we got new chains and sprockets, we got new front and rear bearings, all new bearings. I bled the front brake and the back brake. They both are perfect now. Stopping's great. Put new coolant in, put new oil in, put new gas in, 40-to-1. I cleaned up everything, tore apart the whole entire bike and cleaned up every little piece. So that's what you're seeing right here. We'll do like a little walk around. picked this guy up for 400 bucks. So I just made it into a $900 bike at least, maybe $850. But yeah, guys, it was a pretty fun project. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. I know I went through it pretty fast because I wanted to get it done in one day, and I didn't really record too much of it. But hopefully next time I can. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. My Instagram's 2_vintage_. If you want to go follow that, I do behind the scenes. And I think that's pretty much it. Next video, I think we're going to do this versus Charlie CR125. So that should be a pretty good race, I would think. This thing's pretty peppy. Usually wheelies every gear, so that's pretty good. But yeah, anyway guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And until next time, we are out.